In this comparative study, I will be analyzing how the use of lighting, close-up shots, and costume design convey the role of the leader of the gang in the gangster/crime film genre in the movies The Departed and Infernal Affairs. First off, a little background on the gangster film genre. The genre focuses on gangs and organized crimes. It may involve criminal organizations or small gangs that usually perform illegal acts. More of a focus to this study, cinemablography.org says that this genre is laced with an abundance of visceral brutality and is focused on ruthless characters with loose morals. This is something we will go more into further along the study, as these loose morals are truly an embodiment of these gang leaders, and we will see that and how the elements of film show these traits. The gangster film genre dates back to early 1900s with D.W. Griffith's The Musketeers of Pig Alley, which is usually regarded as one of the first significant gangster films. These films have influenced the two films we're going to be looking at today. However, straying more away from this gangster genre and more towards the films, the first film we're looking at is Infernal Affairs. This is a 2002 Hong Kong crime thriller directed by Andrew Lau and Alan Mack. It tells a story of a police officer who infiltrates the Chinese triads and a triad member who infiltrates the police force. The complex plot developed by this double mole scenario is very interesting to look at. The Chinese title of Infernal Affairs means the unseething path, a reference to the lowest level of hell in Buddhism. However, before we do that, we're going to introduce the 2006 American crime film, which is a remake of Infernal Affairs directed by Martin Scorsese and features a star-studded cast. Not about the Chinese triads, this film is about the Irish mob and features the same double mole complex plot. The Han Sam gang leader of this movie is named Frank Costello, and he is the boss of the Irish mob. Both the Irish mob and Chinese triad were groups of organized crime who established a presence in the crime scene in their respective areas throughout the late 20th century and early 21st century. First, let's see how Han Sam is conveyed as the gang leader through the elements of film. In this scene, he is in the midst of a conversation. Director Lau uses a combination of low-angle shots and close-up shots, as we see here, to exemplify his role of power. This is effective because these shots give off the emotion of almost intensity and power by making Han Sam seem bigger. This relates to the triads in the way that they had a leader who was almost larger than life and seen as a power figure in their organization. Furthermore, in this scene, we see Han Sam in a parking garage, and we get more of these close-ups and lower angle shots. The multitude of these shots throughout the film allows for further emphasis on this message. Another aspect of film that we see here that helps convey this role is the low-key lighting. This lighting brings a grim and evil tone with it that goes hand in hand with the role of the gang leader. Because of the lighting seen in the shot, along with what we know about the gangster genre and the role of the leader, we can conclude that director Lau effectively conveys this role through the use of lighting. Similar to the lighting colors, we can look at the costume design and see that Han Sam is seen wearing blacks and grays, all colors that represent emotionless and emptiness that are usually associated with the traits of someone who is a gang leader within this genre. Therefore, we can say that the use of this costume design is very effective in helping convey this role as a character. This is now when we will see the similarities and differences in presenting this role through the remake of this film, which is again The Departed. The low-angle shots are emphasized even more here, which could be a director's choice after seeing the effectiveness of the extent of the low-angle shots from Infernal Affairs. I agree with this choice, as I feel like the low-angle shots in The Departed are much more effective than that of the Infernal Affairs. By exaggerating this angle even more, I feel like the role of the mob boss was conveyed even further, as the angle allows for the feelings of dominance and power to be brought out. In this next scene, we see a huge emphasis on low-key lighting. A lot of this comes from the fact that the trade is happening at night. Nonetheless, this feels almost logical because of what it means to be part of this organized crime. This meaning is further brought out through the low-key lighting as it furthers the idea of the role. Especially the close-up shots we see in the scene of Costello, the lighting is very dark. This is a great choice by the director, as it induces a feeling of unknown and mystery into the viewer, which I feel is very effective. This is because the gang leader should feel like someone different and not common. As I talked about beforehand regarding Infernal Affairs and the costume design, the feelings of emotionless and emptiness are also brought out here through the lighting. This ties together with the unknown and mystery because of how they all represent parts of the role of the gang leader. Overall, this use of lighting, especially in this scene, is very effective in conveying this role. Finally, a similarity we see is the gray suit in the costume design that has the same feelings of emptiness and emotionless. This in hand with both the lighting and shots help clearly bring out the role of gang leader as a prevalent member throughout the film. In both films, these three aspects are very crucial in presenting this character as it is an integral part of this genre. Both directors are effective in their use of these aspects, and however, I think that Scorsese is slightly more effective, which makes sense because he had already seen Infernal Affairs and was able to improve on things that help bring out the role of the gang leader even more. Thank you.
Cars are moving.